Hello everybody. Right, this is Ruth and I've just started the webinar and it's fantastic to see you all here today. Well, this is a very special webinar that I'm really pleased that you could join us for. It's all about sponsorship, so I know that if you've signed up today you've got some interest in that subject. And it's very, obviously a very hot topic because we've had a massive response by so many different organisations from right around Australia and New Zealand. So there might be some other people as well. Look, welcome to everybody who's able to join us. And we know that there's a wide range of organisations that are attending today, from agricultural shows to human service organisations, child protection services. We've got a whole array of organisations, plus we've got some, I think, some councils and some other people as well. So welcome to everybody. So my name is Ruth Knight and I'm just doing the introduction here. Please switch off your phones and close your door because you are going to want to listen very carefully to what our guest speaker Abby Clements has to share with you today. And I hope you've got a pen handy so that you can write down lots of ideas on your Get It Done sheet, which I emailed out to you a few days ago. So you should have got your Got It Done sheet ready to write down lots of notes and ideas. So just to introduce myself, I'm Ruth Knight. I'm a coach working with non-profits and social enterprises to help them achieve incredible success in all areas of their organisation. And if you want to learn more about me, just check out my website, which is pillarsofbestpractice.com. Now, I've been getting to know Abby Clements for a little while now, and I just love her enthusiastic and collaborative approach to everything she does. She's also extremely knowledgeable about all things sponsorship. So when I wanted to get an expert in to help my members, I looked no further than Abby, which was the obvious choice for me. And when we chatted about this webinar, we agreed that maybe we would open it up to not just Pillars members, but we would open it up to anybody else that wanted to come on. And so that's why you received the invitation, and that's why you're joining us for this webinar. So we've only got a little short time today, so I'm going to get straight into it and introduce Abby, and we're going to get going. But I just actually wanted to alert you to the little panel. If you've never done a webinar before, and if this is your first time, you'll see that there's a panel on your screen, and it says the little chat box where you can write in some questions at any time during the webinar. Now, we may not have time for questions, or we may. We're going to see how the timing goes, but I know that Abby's got an awful lot of information that she wants to cover. But even if we don't have time today, we're going to look at all your questions and somehow we will get those answers back to you. It'll be either through our Facebook or our newsletters. So don't hesitate in emailing me your questions. And in fact, have a little go now if you've got something that you'd really, you've got a burning question. And I'm going to be liaising with Abby throughout the webinar and making sure that she knows if there's questions coming through that are pertinent. Otherwise, as I said, we will answer your questions after today. All right, so welcome, Abby. Let's get cracking. We don't have long, and I know that you've got a lot to share. So hello. Thank you for presenting this webinar today.
Hello. Hi, Ruth. Pleasure. That is my absolute pleasure, and thanks so much for everybody coming online today. I hope that through the years we might be able to meet face to face and get to be able to support you more in your own sponsorship journey. Very kind introduction, Ruth. I paid you a lot of money to say that, so I'll send the check in the mail.
No.
Look, I am the Managing Director of Infinity Sponsorship. I have previously worked in the not-for-profit sector in sponsorship management roles and business development roles, and so I kind of came to Infinity Sponsorship with a real hankering to want to support the not-for-profit sector and help more sponsorship managers and business development managers, marketing managers in the not-for-profit sector really understand how to approach sponsors or companies in the best way possible to really kind of try and diversify their income streams and become more sustainable in their efforts to evolve and touch more members. So You know, we do a host of things at Infinity Sponsorship. We can engage the sponsors for you. We can get them with you in a coaching capacity. We can teach you to engage sponsors with our sponsorship boot camp and workshops we have, or we have a DIY sponsorship kit, which is something that, you know, you can have a look at all of that stuff on our website. So, you know, as Ruth pointed out, we actually do have a lot to cover today. I run generally a full-day workshop on the information I will be presenting today. So if you kind of find, gee, she's really not taking a breath and she's forwarding through it, it's because I really want to try and offer you as much fantastic information as I can. So we will press on. Now, before we get to you know, what the ideal elements of a sponsorship proposal for a not-for-profit organisation are, I really wanted to make sure we're all on a level playing field. So sponsorship is not philanthropic support. It is not about approaching companies for a donation. It is really about helping companies who are aligned with your mission, with your core goals, to work alongside you because they want to access your members. They want to build credibility for themselves. They want to sell more products and services as a result of their alliance with you. A philanthropic donation is really more about supporting a cause and not expecting anything in return. So the ideal sponsorship relationship is that you make money as a result of a sponsor's investment with you. A sponsor makes money because they have been able to sell more products or services as a result of their alignment with you. And also something that I haven't written there, which is ultimately important, is that your members are winning out of this as well because they feel that they are given access to more intelligence, educational material, discounts, better member services as a result of the sponsor's allegiance with your organisation. I think part of the thing that I'm most passionate about in this role in supporting the not-for-profit sector is really helping not-for-profits and charities and peak professional associations understand that you are not a charity that needs donation. When you are seeking the right company and the right corporate partner, you are the gateway to their target market or part of their target market. You are the direct access to who they are trying to sell to, and that makes you a really valuable marketing partner. So if nothing else out of today, I'd really love you to try and help you shift from that you know, to the right partner. We have a lot of value, and so we are able to ask for a substantial investment because we are going to be delivering a lot of value out of that relationship. So why do sponsors invest? Well, there's a range of reasons, and some of them I've jotted up here today. You know, they're looking to increase their brand awareness, their profile, perhaps even their brand protection by aligning themselves with you. For instance, Apple is a good example. They are a company globally known. They are not after brand awareness. Everybody knows who Apple are. What they're after is brand protection. So they are really interested in trying to get in front of people and have face-to-face access with people, because a lot of people with the iOS 7 and the new iPhone 5S have jumped ship to Samsung, and so they have gone into brand protection mode to really try and lure customers back to Apple. You know, a not-for-profit sponsorship or an alliance with a not-for-profit organisation is really a warm introduction to a market they're not currently doing business with. It is not like advertising in the Sydney Morning Herald or doing a television campaign to try and access people to purchase a product. Your members aren't mandated to be with you. It is not compulsory for them to be with you. They are with you because they see value in their membership, and that holds a lot of value to a company because it automatically means that when they align with you, there is a natural opportunity for them to build trust quite quickly with your members. they are able to perhaps influence purchasing behaviour through their alliance with you, because you will be allowing them to communicate with your members, and you will obviously be doing that in an encouraging way to encourage your members to purchase their products or think about them the next time they need a quote. So there is an opportunity there for the influencing of purchasing behaviour. There's credibility, which is a huge one. Your impeccable brand as a charity and a not-for-profit organisation, you are very, very trusted in the community's eyes. So by a company aligning themselves with you, it's like they kind of get to bask in your reflected glory. They get some credibility out of that. And whether or not you use the words endorsement, you need to know that there is a perceived endorsement by a partnership with you. So, you know, and part of the thing, hopefully we'll get to cover today, and if not, I certainly cover in the workshops that I run, is that it's just as important for you as a not-for-profit to screen a company, to screen them as a potential partner. What are their missions? What are they trying to achieve out of a partnership? Indeed, have they even partnered with a not-for-profit organisation before? That in itself can be a big education for a company, because they're not used to dealing with an organisation that has members. So, you know, the perceived endorsement of a partnership with you is a very strong incentive for a company to invest, and clearly the opportunity to gain new customers and more customers, and for you to be able to put a company in front of people that they're not currently doing business with. Okay. The reasons then sponsors won't invest is that a lot of times not-for-profits are very time poor. There's a lot of challenges to seeking sponsorship. Time poor, resource poor, money poor, not necessarily, you know, too many hats for too few heads, not enough money to fund all the great ideas that you have as an organisation. So sometimes the proposals that can be sent out from not-for-profit organisations are misaligned. They can not be reaching the organisations that are really trying to access their members. So those are often opportunities that are missed or lost, because you know, a company will receive a proposal and think, you know, it can't answer the age-old question of what's in it for me, and it'll often end up in the bin. The same with a generic approach. If it's clear that you've just, you know, printed off 30 proposals and sent them out willy-nilly, and you've made no, you know, not taken the opportunity to try and tailor the proposal, or even speak with the company before you send a proposal out to talk about a potential alignment, that will also be a reason that you don't hit the mark. When there's no clear objectives for how a company might participate in this sponsorship, if you're not offering the benefits, you know, the ways that you're currently communicating with your members, if it's not detailed in a proposal, it won't hit the mark. Sponsorship is about return on investment. It's about a company being able to clearly show at the end of the day that there is some return on investment for their investment. So when you're unable to show measurability, or at least how many people that you can put them in front of, where the alignment is for them, that you've done some research on who they're trying to target, that will be a reason that they won't come on board as a partner. Something that I've discovered over the years is corporate partners and companies are a little more nervous to jump into a situation or an organisation that is untested in their eyes. So where there are untried opportunities or techniques or benefits, often you will sometimes have to concede bringing a partner in at a lower level, letting them kind of get a taste of who you are and the kind of access that you can offer at them, and then foster that relationship over the years and build that investment up over time. Another one that is, you know, speaks to the time poorness of a not-for-profit organisation is about unmaintained relationships. Often we will get so excited about the opportunity to speak with a corporate partner and bring them on board in a partnership opportunity. The money will hit the bank account, and often then we get so busy with our core mission and our programs and our projects that we forget about you know, all the things that we promised we would do for a corporate partner. And then when it comes to renewing them, we'll find that they often won't come back on board again. So now that we have tried to cover off, if you like, on a level playing field so we all know where we're coming from, there are some key things that a not-for-profit sponsorship proposal should contain. There is no template fit, I'm sorry to say. I certainly do have a template sponsorship proposal, but it's not a kind of a cut and paste these words into your own proposal. It's more about directing you for what things should be detailed on each page. The most important thing is detailing what your sponsor wants, and you won't know that unless you actually speak to the company that you're trying to target first. You know, I often talk in my workshops that I'm hopefully that people can live vicariously through my own failures. You know, I've probably made more mistakes during my sponsorship journey over the years than you could ever hope to make, and if that helps people kind of fast track their own success, then I'm a very happy camper. But you know, I've trialed the whole do a mail out and then follow up versus call companies first before you do a mail out, and there's no doubt that trying to build a relationship prior to sending out a proposal is absolutely the fastest way to understand more about.
We can hear a bit of a fuzzy noise, so have you changed anything, or I don't know.
Not a thing.
Okay,
not
well,
a thing.
Okay, well, there is still a bit of a fuzzy noise, folks, and I apologise about that, but at least we can hear you now, Abby. So can you just...
I can hear something. It sounds like it's raining, but it's sunny Gold Coast up here for me. Oh, it's gone.
It's gone. Okay, so everybody
the benefits of live webinars.
Ah, that's it. Okay, well, look, you're back, and so can you just step back like 30 seconds and start that sentence again? So that we just don't lose you. But I'll let you know. Yes, I've got a few people saying clear now. So I think everybody's back on track now. So sorry, Abby. Let's get
fantastic.
back to it.
No problem. So I think I will just go back to the most important part is detailing what a sponsor wants. I've made a lot of mistakes in my own sponsorship journey and tried a lot of different ways to contact organisations, and by far the best success rate is contacting a company prior to sending a proposal, even if they say to you, look, do you have something that you can just flick me through so we get a bit of a sense of who you are? That is often better than just sending out a generic proposal that doesn't target them in any way. And so so that's kind of what I was covering there, and then I wanted to move on to a couple of the components, if you like, or elements of the ideal sponsorship proposal, which is the covering page, the invitation and positioning statement, the benefits and communication channels that you will offer a sponsor to leverage from, who the key contacts within your organisation are, the testimonials that you can provide from other partners that may have maybe with you, even ones that you've used in the past, and the investment page. So let's get cracking. Ah, my screen has locked. Isn't that interesting? Next.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. There we go. I'm here. There we go. A word on images. So, images are really, really important. A lot of sponsorship proposals that go out to companies are A4, text-laden, very difficult to read, don't really address for a sponsor why we are approaching you, why we feel there's an alignment, why you would want to spend money with us. Part of what I've learned over the years is, images speak 1,000 words. They are highly important. They are really good if they are relevant to who you are and who you represent. Please don't put in landscape images if you are the Australian College of Midwives. Put in beautiful pregnant bellies and babies and joyful expressions, pictures that evoke emotion and want to create a connection between people. One thing, if I could make a recommendation, and I know that it's tough with organisations that don't have a lot of resources, is if you do run workshop series or conferences or events of any kind, using your own images are so much better. We can all visit iStock, we can all visit Shutterstock. In fact, if you've got a pen and paper, pixabay.com, Pixabay.com is a website that I will sometimes use. They have about 50,000 free images, so perhaps you can find something in there. But down the track, if you can use your own images from a professional photographer, your website will be enhanced, your marketing collateral, proposals, and it really gives the sponsor a great indication of how serious you are about engaging with them. It also has the added advantage of making your proposal much easier to read. It breaks up the text, it creates more white space, and when you're using images that are relevant to who you are and what you're talking about, it just has this beautiful synergy throughout the proposal. I thought perhaps looking through, sorry everyone, that I was able to go straight to some images, and I'll show you some in a minute. I've actually had a few questions already this morning, which is excellent, about people being really interested about the gold, silver and bronze. You know what? These levels have been around for a long time, and those kind of generic sponsorship packages are really more about you and making this an easier process for you than it is about being creative and flexible for your sponsor. So try and be flexible, try and be creative, and I guess I'm talking about things like gold, silver and bronze. It typically seems to be, there are 12 dot points or 12 bullet points of benefits as a gold sponsor, and then you'll see on the silver sponsor there'll be 7 bullet points of benefits that you receive, and then on the bronze there'll be 5 bullet points. It's just really, from my conversation with companies, they're over it. They're really, really over it. So the more you can get into the habit of calling a company before you send a proposal, the more of an idea you will have about what they're looking to achieve from a partnership with you, even if it's an event sponsorship. It doesn't have to be an annual partnership that you enter into, but it's really good if you can hear from them what the kind of things are that they're interested in, because 50,000 or 10,000 for the opportunity for them to have their logo on your website no longer cuts it. I deal with companies who receive upwards of 150 proposals a month, and it's really cutthroat now. Not-for-profits are getting smarter. There are 700,000 not-for-profits and charities in the country, so the more you can actually differentiate yourself by being prepared to pick up the phone, and just know that when you do pick up the phone, you're not ringing to ask for money. You're ringing to create a relationship. You're ringing to be curious about, the research we've done about you as a company tells us that there might be an alignment. I'm ringing you to see whether you also feel that way. And hopefully that can take some of that call resistance out, because I know people get really nervous. Oh, I'm shy. I don't like picking up the phone. I don't want to ask for money. Well, in the first instance, you're actually not. And so, the more you can understand what your sponsor's looking for and be prepared to maybe allow them to come in at a smaller investment level, gain their commitment, give them a good experience and grow that investment over time, I think is going to be a much, you're going to have more success. Okay, Ruth's telling me that when I change slides you can't really hear me, so I'm just giving it a moment. Hopefully we're okay to go. So your cover page. It's really great if you can have a relevant and striking hero image. Now this doesn't have to be Spider-Man or Superman or Batman. I'm not talking about that kind of hero image. I'm talking about an image that if you could encapsulate your mission or your ultimate member in an image, what would that image be? Make it visually interesting, emotionally appealing. Please write corporate partnership proposal on that cover page, because that will instantly identify for that person in the marketing department for that company what you are sending them. Put your logo on the cover page and also your website, because sure as eggs, if they don't know much about you, the first thing they'll do is get on your website and have a look. You know, one thing that I've noticed is becoming more common is people also putting the company's logo on their corporate partnerships proposals. Please don't do this. You actually don't have permission to do that, and companies seem to get really bent out of shape by it. So I know a lot of companies, organizations say, well, if we have our logo and their logo, we're kind of giving them a feel for what a synergy and what a partnership might look like. You know what? Just leave it off. Until you have their permission, don't go near their logo. I just wanted to give you a bit of an idea of some of the corporate partnership proposals that I've created over the time. I started off with a bit of a landscape design and have moved more to the portrait magazine style, which seems to, and I've really reduced the length of it as well. So you can see there I try to theme my, my corporate partnership proposals. So I've been working with ARAMA now. They are the management rights industry body, and they're in accommodation, and so you know the theme of that proposal was about accommodating Australians, and then I talk about our accommodating events and our accommodating communications. So it's kind of you know giving the impression, if you like, that we are accommodating to work with, that we're easy to work with. Sports Medicine Australia again was you know, vision, focus and follow through, and we draw synergies between our sports medicine and science professionals, and also the fact that business leaders in today's society need vision, focus and follow through, and so we're drawing synergies together through the theme of that proposal. And then when I was working with the Australian College of Midwives, obviously that beautiful hero image there. Okay, one thing that's really important to have in a proposal is a positioning statement. I think it's very easy for not-for-profit organisations to really make that first page of the proposal a history about their organisation, and it's got to be continually answering the "what's in it for me" question. So if you can do away with "we were created in 1980 and we've been blah 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 and we have," move away from that and move into a positioning statement, which is a sentence or a paragraph that defines you, your organisation, what your position is in the marketplace, what makes you unique, and why it's relevant to the company that you are targeting. I like to try and use facts and figures and statistics to justify that position. I'll just read a paragraph from the ARAMA proposal that I created earlier this year to give you an idea of the positioning statement that I used for them. So the Australian Resident Accommodation Managers Association, or ARAMA, is the peak body for the management rights industry in Australia and represents more than 2,500 resident managers across the country. Our industry manages in excess of $15 billion in property and returns more than $55.5 billion in economic benefit back to Australia each year. Now, in that little sentence, we've suddenly given the big picture of who we are. We've said we're the only one in Australia who does this. We've given them a size of our membership. We've given them the, the amount or the size of the accommodation and property that we manage each year, and also how much we funnel back into the Australian economy. As I said, I run a full-day workshop on this stuff, so it's difficult to try and I really want to give you as much information as I can, but hopefully it can start to inform you a little bit more about, when you write a partnership proposal, please try and think about what a corporate partner is wanting to hear, and the fact that they may not know you. And so what is the shortest, punchiest way you can get them to understand who you are and why there's an alignment in the shortest amount of time possible? Your positioning statement actually goes in that page after the cover page, so that first kind of meaty page, if you like, of your proposal, and that's part of the invitation page. So it's the invitation to partner, and that's where you can sell yourself. You can tell them what you can offer that nobody else can, where you really should try and convey that message that we can help you become more successful through XYZ, by putting you in front of people that you're not currently doing business with, by getting you at our events, by helping you to communicate with members across all the ways that we're already communicating with our members. Try and make that sponsor excited about working with you. Give them the big picture of who you are, of where you fit in the country or your state or even your local vicinity. This isn't just about national organisations looking for national partners. I deal with local football teams and local surf clubs, so it's just as relevant whether you're looking across the country or whether you're looking, just on the Gold Coast or Burleigh Heads or, rural New South Wales. So try to move away from focusing on the history of who you are. They can read that on the About Us page on your website. Try to create more of a story that they can become part of. I've just tried to list some of the things that I can think of that you may already be offering your members. It's not about you going back to your organisations now and thinking, oh, we need to put on a national conference and it's going to cost us $40,000 a year because we need to give sponsors, access to our members. It's really about teasing out all of the ways you're currently speaking with members and offering partners the opportunity to leverage from that. So you might have direct mail. You might send out new member packs and renewing member packs and annual reports. Perhaps there's an opportunity there to be able to pop in a flyer on behalf of a corporate partner. You might have a quarterly newsletter or a quarterly magazine. Rather than giving them advertising space, it's better to give them editorial space. What we're wanting is to be able to have a company educate our members, because that's when our members are going to feel connected to that company, and that is what's going to perhaps influence their purchasing decisions. When they're feeling that that company is actually giving back to them, telling them about cutting-edge research or any educational content they have, members will be more likely to turn to them for further information. You might have events. There might be speaking opportunities. It may be as little as you run an awards ceremony during the lunch break at your conference, and you might offer your corporate partner the opportunity to hand out the flowers or to the awards to the winners, and there might be a 2-minute opportunity there for them to speak on stage. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of information there. What other opportunities might there be? How else do you communicate with your members? It's really as the list can be as long as you like.
And Abby, when you're talking about members, you actually mean, because not every, I just want to confirm what you mean by members, because that might be donors,
Yes,
it might be your people who come to your event, your customers, mightn't it? So just to clarify, because I know some people online might think, oh, I don't have members, you know.
right. Great question. Thanks so much, Ruth. Look, basically, if you have a database of people that you are in touch with, whether you call them members, supporters, donors, clients, they are the people that you communicate with regularly. They are the people who support your organisation. They aren't mandated to do that. It's not compulsory for them. They are the ones that you have an opportunity to allow companies to communicate with. So thank you for highlighting that. I guess the wording I'm using is members. I should have probably cleared that off.
And just to remember about privacy and confidentiality, isn't it? Because I know that sometimes when we give over our name and address to an organisation because we've donated to them, we just need to be careful about the privacy, contract around that, and just not you don't just want to go out to 100 corporate partners and give them all your names and addresses, because you might lose all your donors.
Please, 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 that is the best point you've just made. Please never give away your database. Ever, ever, ever. Selling your database, whether it's on a USB key or you give them a printed out sheet or send them an Excel spreadsheet, is you are handing over the greatest value that you have to a corporate partner, because you're basically saying to them, here's a bunch of potential new clients for you. You pay us once and you can have access to them. The strength in the relationship is actually the fact that you are welcoming this company to the table. You are inviting them to get to know your family, and that is actually a much more powerful proposition to a company than handing over your database. That's a really, really good point. Please don't do it. I know that it happens sometimes, but the whole premise of a sponsorship or a corporate partnership arrangement is that when your partners or sponsors communicate to your members, they do it through you. They do it through the channels that you are already using. They are not having an opportunity to spam members, so it should not contravene any privacy issues that you have. And they are doing it with your full editing rights. If somebody submits an advertisement or editorial content to you and you think, that kind of language isn't going to fly with our members, you need to support that company to communicate in the best way possible, and they will generally be grateful to you because they want the biggest bang for their buck as well. So that's a really, really good point, and I hope I've cleared that up. Okay, so moving on, key contacts. This is part of the partnership proposal that's actually really important. Sponsors like to see who they're dealing with. Please include photos. And once again, if you can get professional photos done, even better. Often, we'll get people to send in a photo of themselves and it will be them at a barbecue that's kind of been cut out and the lighting's really bad and they may have a beer in their hand. That is not the photo to put on your sponsorship proposal. If you can get clear, lovely, professional, well-lit photos, they're good on your website. They're great in your newsletter. They can be used in a bunch of areas, and they really, a corporate partnership proposal is your one and only chance to really create a first impression. So it's best to be as well dressed as you can be. Include your CEO and senior staff. If you are approaching a CEO, a general manager, a vice president of marketing, they are going to want to see their equivalent in title, if you like. So, if you're approaching a CEO, they're going to want to see an image and a biography of your CEO. Funnily enough, when I work with not-for-profit organisations, one of the things that I have to do first up is I have to say, please send me your biographies before I even start writing the proposal, because I have learnt that people get really triggered about having to supply their photos and their biography. So that's often the thing that takes the longest. Most senior management will have a biography, especially if they are lobbying government, or if they are, you know, speaking at conferences and things like that. But for people who haven't done a biography before, it can be a bit of a tricky exercise for them, and they won't prioritise it. So generally, when I create a sponsorship proposal for an organisation, the first thing I do is I ask for photos and biographies, and I know that that's going to take quite a while. You might also want to involve some influential board members. Please don't put contact details for board members, though. You do not want a company to contact your board about a potential sponsorship deal. You want the people to contact you. So just keep the contact details there for team members only. Testimonials, that's a little bit blurry, but I love that cartoon. This is a wonderful testimonial for our product line, Ted. You just can't buy this kind of praise, enthusiasm and sincerity. Tell your mum we really appreciate it. Now, please don't put a testimonial from your mum in the corporate partnership proposal, but you know what? It is so much more powerful if you can get somebody else to say something good about you. Testimonials from the right people are powerful. Please think carefully about who you approach. Some organisations come to me and say, you know what, we are brand new to the sponsorship realm, the corporate partnership process. We've never had sponsors or partners before. Who could we get testimonials from? So, you know, you may have people, research partners, you may have suppliers, you may have people who have worked with you or donated to you previously. They may be great opportunities to go to them and ask for a testimonial. And what we're wanting is, what would we like to work with? Did you find benefit from your association with us? And if you can get their permission to use their logo, that's fantastic. So it's I actually have some guides on how to write a good testimonial. So please feel free to email me at the end of this presentation. I can absolutely send you out that how-to guide. But yes, never say something good about yourself that you can get somebody else to say. Investment. I think this is really tricky, and there's a formula that I use that I do not have time to go into right now. But one thing you need to know is sponsorship in the not-for-profit sector is often the cheapest form of marketing for a company. If you wanted to take out a full-page ad in the Sydney Morning Herald on a Saturday, you'd be looking at about $100,000 for one campaign. Now, when a company does that, they don't have the opportunity to ring the Sydney Morning Herald on a Monday and say, oh, could you let me know how many people would have read our ad on Saturday? The benefit of them coming on board as a partner with you is that they will get direct access to a target market that they're not currently fully penetrating, and they are going to be able to create communication strategies and communicate with your members and stakeholders and clients and supporters, all of the people you're willing to give them access to over the year for a much more in a much more highly aligned way, but for a much cheaper investment. It's the same amount of effort. I know it doesn't maybe feel like it, but it is the same amount of effort to go after a $50,000 investment as it is $5,000. You still have to create proposals, you still have to follow up, you still have to have meetings. It's the same amount of effort. So think about what you are offering. What is the worth? What is the value of your offering to a partner? And often you won't understand that until you start having these conversations and building these relationships. But a big mistake not-for-profits make is that they think, well, what are our costs? What's it going to cost to run this event, or what's it going to cost to put in this advertisement? We'll build on 10% and then we'll maybe charge 10% more than that. That's not the best way to go about it. There's an 80-20 rule in sponsorship. 80% of an investment should be profit. 20% of what they invest with you should go to servicing that sponsor. So, you know, when you're looking at government grants, you have to acquit every single cent. But in sponsorship, you should be able to have 80% of that investment being profit. And most importantly, when you're looking at valuing yourself, know that you are the direct route to market for the right sponsor, and I use that as a caveat. Make sure it is the right sponsor. You know, if we're the Australian College of Midwives, we're not going to go after a gardening company. You know, where's the alignment there? So when you do identify those sponsors that are trying to access or trying to sell to your members and constituents, remember that there is massive value in that. I think I'm done. So I hope I've helped you. I know that there was a lot of information in there. You may have questions. You might want more information. There's my contact details. If you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me. I nearly said sponsor me. No, I don't want sponsors. I post an article most days about sponsorship, and I look at guest articles from around the world, and I also send out a monthly, free monthly newsletter, e-newsletter, which has tips and how-tos and templates. So, you know, feel free to email me and give me your email address and I can sign you up. Thanks so much, Ruth, for today.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Abby. Look, that was a lot of information, but I've been writing down notes myself. There's so much that you just gave me some ideas on there. But even, you know, that mind shift that we need to think of ourselves as valuable partners and sort of sit down with our boards and our team and actually think about how valuable we are and what we can offer to partners. And also the importance of a really good website, because of course people, they are going to come and check us out just as much as we need to check them out. So, you know, having a great website that sort of displays who we are and what we're doing and how we can, you know, build their branding, I suppose, just as much as ours. You know, and what you've talked about is, you know, the fact that this is a really, it's a lot of work, but on the other hand, it might really pay itself off. You know, we need to think of this as an investment, I suppose, in our time to get to know potential sponsors.
That's a really good point, actually. And, you know, there's not many activities in the not-for-profit sector that have the opportunity to give you the return on investment for your efforts that sponsorship does. Yeah.
And everybody, I mean, someone's just said, you know, how many people should be involved in corporate sponsorship? But I mean, really, do you agree that everybody is involved in that sponsorship? Because sponsorship equals partnership and equals relationship, doesn't it? So, really,
well, I guess that's an interesting question, and yeah, and without knowing more, you know, I guess there's two ways to answer that question. One is, it's a little bit like membership, you know. Membership is everybody's business. There's often more than one person in an organisation who will, you know, somebody will send out the newsletter, perhaps somebody will update the website, perhaps we'll have an event coordinator. So all of those people need to be across partnerships and sponsorships, absolutely. I kind of feel like it's better to have one point of contact in an organisation, because the easier you can make it for a company, knowing that there's just one point of contact, the more comfortable and the better flow that a partnership seems to have.
Yeah. Now, look, I'm really sorry. I'd love to go on chatting with you for ages, Abby, but I know that you do hold workshops, and if people want to talk to you more, they can call you and email you. So we're going to have to wrap up because everybody needs to get on with their day. Sure. But thank you again so much for everything that you've been able to give to us today. And as Abby said, we're on Twitter, but I'm a lot on Facebook. So please come to Pillars of Best Practice, where I'll be sharing a lot more about fundraising and sponsorship and lots more. I work with all areas of your organisation. So I hope to see you on Facebook, and we can continue. And you can ask questions, obviously, on Facebook, so we can do that as well. And look, lovely, thank you again for everybody for joining us, and I hope that you got something out of today. But time's up, so we're going to have to say goodbye. And look, Abby, we'll talk about, you know, future webinars, and you're probably going to put on some of your own webinars and stuff as well. So hopefully everybody will meet us again on